Baseball means a little more in Greenville in a big series. At Clark LeClaire Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina, it's 24th ranked Coastal Carolina and East Carolina. The Pirates starting to put it together a little bit at the plate. Coastal coming off a heartbreaking midweek setback in Chapel Hill. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the booth. Clark LeClaire Stadium. Patrick Johnson along with Mike Mullis. It's great to have you with us here. East Carolina 3 in a row. They've started to put it together in different facets of the game.
Yeah, great starting pitching last weekend. Offense seems to be coming around. All signs of life. We're seeing production for places that haven't otherwise been there. It certainly seems like this Pirate Club's coming together.
For Coastal Carolina, really tough extra inning defeat against the undefeated UNC Tar Heels. How do they bounce back?
You know, played an otherwise perfect game. The big error was the one in left field. A bobble by their left fielder allows a runner into scoring position that ultimately scores. And when you play a team number 5 in the country like Carolina, although you're really good, you got to play perfect baseball.
You were behind the plate when you played, and I know you pay particular attention to catchers. Coastal's got a very good one in Caden Bodine.
No, I love the catchers, man, and we've been spoiled by watching Luke Stevenson here with Carolina just a few weeks ago, and obviously Walker Barron and the job he does for the Pirates. But this one, Caden Bodine is special. Switch hitting catcher, some serious juice from the left side. Just an old school kind of throwback guy, plays the game the right way. Could be a lot of fun watching him all weekend.
Sunbelt Player of the Week with those numbers. Austin Irby, a couple of home runs in the midweek clash, the win against Gardner-Webb.
Again, another one of these fantastic freshmen that we've kind of watched grow up right in front of us. A couple powers, shots this weekend or this week, and a guy that is certainly coming into his own form.
First pitch between Coastal and East Carolina when we return to Clark LeClaire Stadium. It's the American on ESPN+. 5'10" sophomore from Kernersville will get the start for the Pirates. The lefty Ethan Norby, Mike, probably deserves a little better fate than what he's got record-wise.
Yeah, man, when you've got 21 strikeouts and 16 2/3, only two walks and 3 hit by pitch on the year, and you're 0-2, that's a tough luck loser.
Those 3 hit by pitch, 2 came in the season opener.
That's right, all in one game, and again, scattering 2 walks over 16 2/3. His last outing was almost perfect. I mean, he works obviously with great pace, and the fastball has been consistently in the 92, 93 range. Breaking stuff, man. He was lights out last time he took the bump.
Pirates couldn't hold on in that one, but they took the last 2, thumping Indiana State and then dispatching fairly easily of Virginia Tech at the Keith LeClaire Classic. Leading off for the Chanticleers will be Dean Mijos. He's out in center field, great ball player, followed by Bodine. You might be hard-pressed to find a better 1-2 hitters anywhere in college baseball.
You know, Mijos is a fun guy to watch play, does not give his at-bats away. So be super interesting to see this matchup with he and Norby and kind of the chess game inside the game. And like you said, Bodine's numbers and his reputation speak for itself.
Thorndike, the former Pirate, batting cleanup at first base. Coastal comes in 24th in the polls. Underway on a cloudy afternoon, a little bit chilly in Greenville, and it's going to be a swinging strike. .91 on the gun, sent foul, and it's an 0-2 hold to start things here for Mijos. Mijos has been outstanding on the year, .395, leads them in batting. 17 hits, 18 runs scored. Strike 3, he's rung up on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball low in the zone.
You know, that is a heck of a win right out of the gate for Norby. Like I was mentioning earlier, Mijos is a guy that battles in the box and does not give up at bats. More importantly, he got him on 3 fastballs, so Mijos hasn't seen the breaking pitch yet. 3 well-located fastballs by Norbs.
Vergara, Peltier are in the outfield along with Downs. As Bodine fouls it back. And then Colby Wallace down at third base. Boucher, Williams, Irby on the infield with Walker Barron behind the plate.
You know, kind of interesting there, 4 straight fastballs and finally has to show Bodine the breaking ball. But if Norby could get through this thing and minimize the amount of breaking balls he has to show, it certainly gives him a weapon coming back through the lineup.
Out of play, and it's 1-2. One other thing about Norby, in case you're looking in from the Coastal audience or just a curious college baseball fan, Norby works quickly, and he's got back-to-back punch-outs.
Yeah, a little nibble and bite there, backdoor breaking pitch, and again, super dangerous pitch to throw. It is a high-risk, high-reward pitch. Norby has just about mastered it, and that is a dandy. You see there, Bodine saying that's out. He thought that was a little off the plate, but Norby gets the generous strike call.
Blake Barthol is the batter. Barthol, 5'9", junior, and Norby around the zone. Coastal does not get cheated at the plate, taking their whacks, a 286 team average, and they have scored 98 runs on the year.
And already behind Norby 0-2.
Up high for a ball. Norby against Kent State, as we told you in the open, 6 2/3, 9 strikeouts, his season high, one off his career high, and 3 straight looking. Coastal goes quietly in the first. East Carolina coming to bat. Going to look at Luke Jones, the freshman out of the other Greenville, the upstate of South Carolina. Kind of one bad inning. He's been used sparingly. Their normal starter is unavailable, dinged up, and their normal Friday night starter. And so Coastal's going to go with what looks to be a bullpen day. What are they expecting out of Jones, Mully?
You know, excuse me, his season high this year, I think he's thrown about 40 pitches, right around that, maybe upper 30s, is his longest outing. So I think it's kind of a one trip through the lineup, or maybe, hey, let's, you know, they've got matchups at the top of the lineup with the Pirates that they like. The bugaboo has been the walks. Limited number of innings, like you said, only 3 with 4 walks, but a guy that they really like and has developed, come along, and shown the things that they wanted to see to get him out there on a Friday night.
The DH today is Michael Kalinich. I know you've been big on him. He'll bat 4th. Peltier, Williams and Irby are due up for the Pirates here in the first Barron. And you see the bottom third with Boucher, Downs, and Colby Wallace at third. Squaring to bunt and pulling back is Peltier, and the pitch is missed for a ball. Did you expect a healthy diet of breaking pitches?
Yeah, you know, I think that's kind of the thought process. Quite frankly, both the teams may be a little susceptible to the spinner, but yeah, I wouldn't doubt that at all, PJ. And, you know, like to be able to get through the lineup one time without showing it too many, but we'll see how these Pirate hitters react.
Curve called a strike.
Well, that's the one that same one that Bodine didn't like in the last inning, although it was from a left-hander into that back door, but same spot. We'll keep an eye on that and see if that turns into a place where these pitchers could go.
In the air for Peltier. Ball not really carrying here very much today, like it is apt to do sometimes in the daylight hours. It'll be a long fly out. Mijos underneath for the catch for the first out.
Yeah, we'll kind of keep an eye on that throughout this game. I mean, the weather, obviously we didn't quite get as warm as maybe forecasted for the area today. And little breeze moving around out here at times, kind of swirling like it tends to do this time of the year. But chilly, breezy day here at the ballpark.
11th start of the year for Dixon Williams, the junior, at second. Williams with an 8-game hit streak.
Yeah, and I've made a lot to do about Dixon's adjustment in his approach and the success he's had through the middle of the field and into the left center gap, and just really appears to be locked in at this point.
Williams with 3 homers on the year. His last one came here against Old Dominion. He tanked a 420-foot shot. Squares the bunt, pulls back. 83 on the gun, 2-1.
You know, a lot of similarities in the approaches of these two clubs. It would not surprise me if we see the bunt shown. We'll see bunts executed, base running. Both of these teams have guys that can run, and they are not afraid to take shots.
Another off-speed delivery across for a strike. So 2-2 to Williams. Nixon had a couple of home runs in the opening series against George Mason. And he's worked the count full.
Yeah, got a quality at bat going here. Pretty good miss there by the freshman Jones, just out of the top of the zone.
Norby on deck's got the 4 home runs, including 2 the other night. Good eye from Williams, and that's going to be ball 4. One aboard here for Austin Irby, who's been most impressive.
You know, this is the test for the freshman who's, as we mentioned earlier, his struggle has been the number of walks and the limited number of innings. So let's see if he can regroup here and give his team a chance to get out of this inning.
Last appearance was last Friday against Rutgers for Jones. And Luke went an inning and struck out 1. Ball gets away from Bodine, but he sheds the mask and retrieves it quickly.
Yeah, that's something you don't expect to see with a catcher like Bodine, but it happens.
1 pass ball for him on the year. He's thrown out 31% of would-be base stealers. Runner stays put. It'll be 2-0 here.
You know, PJ, so much of throwing out the runners is dependent upon what assistance you're getting from the pitcher and staying in rhythm and getting the ball to you, adjusting their looks to hold the runners close, make them a little uncomfortable.
3 in a row out of the zone to Irby. 4 in a row overall. Kalinic on deck. Pretty good crowd here for a Friday afternoon start on a chilly day. Folks still filing in. We made him throw a strike. 2-2 now.
See if they put Dixon in motion over there. A little lean for sure.
There he goes. Irby slashes at it, sends it foul.
A little running hit there. Kind of hard to straight up hit and run with a guy that, you know, Jones struggles with strikes. He'd like to be able to try to hit and run, true hit and run with strike throwers. And again, was kind of already well documented that has been Luke Jones's challenge.
Irby swings through, and that will be out number 2, the strikeout first of the day for Luke Jones. Jones walked 3 in an earlier outing against Kansas State. His first outing against Alabama is the one where he gave up the 4 earned runs.
Yeah, you saw that swing there by Irby. I mean, fastball up and in. It just does beat the barrel, but he took a healthy hack at it.
Alexander Mijos books in the outfield. Mitchell and Thorndike are on the corners. Baringo and Barthol are the middle infielders with Bodine behind the plate for Coastal. Comes in the 24th ranked team in the land. It's 0-1 to Kalinic. Fifth start as the designated hitter for Cliff Godwin's team.
Falls behind Jones pretty quick, 0-2.
Williams a 1-out walk. He strides off the bag at first. Two is high.
Yeah, last time we saw Kalinic here at home, he had the at-bat that kind of drew mixed reviews from different folks, but he was pretty excited to be in there and get a sac fly RBI. lot made about the emotion he showed in that at bat, and Coach Godwin came out in support of his player like he should and said, hey, I want them to show their personality and enjoy playing the game, but I just don't want them to disrespect the game. And in a lot of people's eyes, that was right up against that line.
Stayed alive there, got a piece.
There you get a little look of the external emotion. Michael Kalinic likes to show. Really good job there getting to that two-strike breaking ball, just fouling it off.
Not saying, Mully, you're an out-of-touch old guy, but more and more just talking to people, fans of the game, that sort of thing. As Kalinic chops this one, we'll complete that thought after the break. Pirates leave a runner stranded, and we're scoreless through one. I broke the Cardinal rule, started a story or a statement with 2 outs and 2 strikes.
And Norby's not a good one to try to tell a story.
So I've left you hanging out there as the angry old man who yells at clouds.
We're going to get back to that story.
Should we wait till it comes back around?
No, it's on you.
Oh, it's on, okay. Domenico Tozzi up for Coastal to start the inning. 750 slugging percentage, or 710 slugging percentage. Check that for him this year, batting over 350. It's a very offensive Coastal lineup, isn't it, Mully?
Well, and so much of what they do, like a lot of other programs, is driven by metrics and analytics. And, man, they look at every single thing as to launch angles and, what the exit velocities are, spins, and all these different things that, again, are just part of the evolution of the game. But, yeah, they are offensive. And, they always have those 2 or 3 table setters and then a number of guys that are in the lineup to bop a little bit. We got a little conversation here with Coach Schnall and the home plate umpire, and I'm going to imagine it's got something to do with the addressing. In other words, they're going to try to slow Norby down.
Right. Kevin Schnall taking over, longtime assistant to Gary Gilmore, who retired after last year. Coach Gilmore leading Coastal to the 2016 College World Series Championship. Norby just pours it across. He's filling up the zone today, and it's 2-2.
When these guys watch film on each other, obviously that not only the stuff that's on ESPN Plus, but other things that they have access to. So it's no mystery the pace at which Norby likes to work.
It's a swinging strikeout there of Tozzi. That's the 4th, and here comes former Pirate Colby Thorndike.
We've seen these Pirates returning to Greenville in Rasmussen with Tulane. Was it last year, maybe year before? And he had a really big weekend. So let's see what the Pirates can do against Thorndike.
Took a cut at that 90-mile-an-hour heater. Strike 2.
And I promise you, if he's listening, he's probably already thought this. I will at some point say Kelby Thorndike, which is the baseball coach over at ACOC, before this weekend's over, because Colby and Kelby Thorndike,
it's pretty close,
very, very close to each other in name.
Started at ECU, then at Brunswick Community College. Thorndike out of Lumberton, and he'll head to the bench.
I tell you what, Robbie Allen down at Brunswick Community College has done a great job, and Davis Kirkpatrick, former Pirate pitcher, is his pitching coach, assistant coach there. They have certainly produced some players that have had success at the next level and always have really competitive clubs.
Walker Mitchell. Big swing and a miss.
Tell you what, they are getting off some aggressive hacks and absolutely nothing to show for it.
Norb's ready to go.
You know, if you'll notice right there too, the hitter had the umpire hold him up a little bit, kept his head turned.
Yep.
But boy, as soon as he glances and look back up at Norby, then Norby's going. And if some folks are confused or maybe hadn't heard us talk about this on previous broadcasts, the hitter has until the 8-second mark to address the pitcher, some semblance of acknowledgement before the pitcher can pitch.
3 strikeouts looking in the first. 3 strikeouts swinging for Norby in the top of the second. Half a dozen in total. Ethan Norby dealing through the first 2 for the Pirates as he's seeking that first win. Walker Barron's got his own hit streak going as you look into the Coastal dugout. And he's reached base safely in all 12 games so far this year for East Carolina. Pirate catcher will stand in here, followed by Vergara and Boucher.
Barron really has been Mr. Consistency for this Pirate offense all season, hitting in different spots of the lineup, kind of up and down, they move him around, and been a spark plug.
Coastal 8-2 against the P4. Had a really good weekend down in Jacksonville, Florida. They played in an event there a couple weeks ago. Our friend and colleague Darren Vaught called that.
Yeah, they started off a little bumpy there, but certainly got it figured out. Big win there to wrap it up over the Wolfpack from NC State. But, you know, Coach Nall said their first 4 games, they really felt good about where they were, kind of slipped up for a couple, but seemed to have gotten it back on track.
Barango had that one slide up his arm. So Barron on at first.
Yeah, you see a little C&I single, an attempt at the kick save, but thought better of it. And you see here a little top spinner just climbs the glove and bounces out of reach. And Walker Barron into first base. That thing's off the end of the bat. So it's certainly, I mean, that's a cue shot if there's ever been one.
Give him a hit. So the hit streak continues. 9 in a row now for Walker Barron. Roger Vergara hammers it into the ground. Out at second, the turn, and the ball dropped at first.
And those are the kind of mistakes like we talked about as it relates to the game that Coastal played with Carolina. You see, I mean, this is a custom-made double play, 6-4-3, and just kind of yips it a little bit, you know, kind of not quite finishing through that throw and dropped at first base. This is the kind of stuff that got him. It was a pick in the first or second against Carolina that allowed the Hills to score their first run.
Here's Alex Boucher, South Central grad. Scored a couple runs in the win over Gardner-Webb in the 11-8 Pirate victory in the midweek.
You know, one thing Coastal certainly didn't want to do is add any weight on the shoulders of the freshman Luke Jones out there, who's just kind of trying to find his way. And now you face a guy with 3 home runs that does have some juice with a runner on instead of, bases empty with 2 outs.
Boucher, the hero in the final game of the George Mason series. See Mason this week, 23 runs in a single inning.
Yeah, against Holy Cross, that's getting it done.
NCAA record. A little eye-opening, didn't you think, when you saw that?
Well, there's been some big innings this year, PJ. You had a 17-run, and you've had multiple 12 runs. So, I mean, there's been some offense when characteristically, pitching just dominates hitting early in the season, but there's been some big crooked numbers put up around college baseball.
2 down after Boucher fans, and here's Drew Downs coming to the plate. Pirate right fielder.
Drew, when they first put him in the lineup, a little bit slow, a little bit of a slow start. Now I got the average up to 375. He got 3 hits on the season and scored 3 runs. So kind of finding his way and figuring out what this is all about.
Pushes the bunt with 2 outs, and he's going to get there.
Yeah, it's kind of like we mentioned earlier. Both these teams not afraid to play the small ball game, and Drew a good runner. Obviously, good runner at first base in regardless, so you feel comfortable with that. And actually, it really wouldn't have mattered who was running. That ball was so very well placed. Nice effort by the third baseman, Mitchell. But you see here, man, that's absolute no man's land and really no chance.
He'll beat it out by a plenty in case maybe you're watching some baseball for the first time this year with this series between 2 really good programs. The base in the runner's lane down the first base line is in play now, and here at Clark LeClaire, turf around the plate and down the baselines. That one bounced off and then onto the natural grass. Colby Wallace batting 9th today.
And the greatest mystery in all of college baseball is the double bag and how do they mandated it. And some parks have it, some parks don't. Is it an NCAA deal or a conference deal? And nobody seems to have that answer.
In the air, but it's not going to leave the park. Hung up there, and it's going to be caught by Sebastian Alexander for the 3rd out. Pretty good ride he gave that one. Wallace. Pirates leave a pair stranded after a couple of knocks in the 2nd. Alongside Mike Mullis, I'm Patrick Johnson. Thanks for being with us here this afternoon as the Pirates playing host to Coastal Carolina. As everybody remembers the 2022 regional here in Greenville. Coastal taking the Sunday game that led to a Monday game and a Pirate onslaught. 13-4, they knocked off the Chanticleers that day. Bottom third of the order due up for Coastal here. Jake Brooks. Strike 1 to him. And he's quickly down 0-2 as he bounces that one foul.
PJ, what an exciting time that was around Greenville and Eastern North Carolina, and quite frankly for all of college baseball and Pirate Nation. But, man, it was that weekend and then turn around with Texas coming in, and it was this atmosphere was electric.
Strike 3.
Speaking of electric.
7 up, 7 down, all via strikeout. In that 13-4 win over Coastal in the 22 Greenville Regional, Bryson Worrell was amazing, especially early in the game, driving in runs, scoring runs. I think it's Cowart plated him. In fact, Worrell actually scored the first 3 runs of the game for the Pirates. 0-1 to Sebastian Alexander. Big cut through that high fastball, and it's going to be 0-2.
You know, the emotion of that entire season, opening up with the stunning series loss and sweep to Bryant, I believe it was, and kind of where the team was through the first 20 games or so, and then to just kind of figure it out and almost felt like catching lightning in a bottle. And boy, did they play well. I reeled off a 25-plus game win streak. I don't remember exactly what the number was, but it was a big number, enough to get them a national seed, and that was a special season of Pirate baseball for sure.
Wild scene here in the Super Regional. First time they had hosted the Super here in Greenville when Texas came to town in the 8-9 national seed matchup. Which were a couple outs away in the 7th inning from moving on. That's going to be a strikeout to Alexander. Second out of the inning, and 8 strikeouts. The first 8 have fanned for the Chanticleers.
I'll tell you what, Alexander was the first Chanticleer to really have an extended, decent, or competitive at bat, if you will. And Norby still finds a way to beat him with that breaking ball down in the zone.
Ty Baringo, the shortstop.
You know, right now I think Norby is in what you call the zone. He's certainly feeling it and just filling up the strike zone, kind of commanding whatever he wants to throw up there. And that pitch right there might be the worst one we've seen him throw, and that was still very competitive.
Baringo riding a 4-game hitting streak coming into today. 1-2. Slashes that one foul.
Boy, Norby wanted that one, and boy, I think he had a good reason for appeal, maybe just a little bit out of zone. Had that pitch been down, that seems to be where this umpire likes it. A little tall, maybe a little out.
2-2. Strikes him out swinging. And they will toss it down to first. No need to do that, though. 9 up, 9 down. All striking out for Coastal. 2.5 in the books, and already matching his season high in strikeouts. That easy for Norbs.
There is only one way to win. It doesn't have shortcuts. It's a spirit to outwork, outsmart, and outlast the competition. It demands boldness, grit, and guts. It says we can, and we will. It's what separates us from the rest. There's only one way to greatness, and that's the American way.
East Carolina University alum Cliff Godwin. 740 win seasons. Pirates are coming off their 8th regional appearance under Coach CG. Great catcher here, 403 wins, 24 behind Coach O, Dr. Gary Overton, who is the analyst on the ECU radio network. And Dylan Johnson calling the action on radio all season. Patrick Johnson, Mike Mullis here with you as Alex Peltier, who flew out to center. Starts off things in the 3rd. Scooped deep in the hole. Peltier on with an infield single.
Yeah, Baringo realizing no need to even make that throw with the speed of Peltier. It's good for the Pirates to see Peltier starting to figure it back out a little bit. Fell into a little bit of a cold spell. You see perfectly placed here, kind of beats the shift, if you will. That's kind of the term. It had to move the shortstop to the glove side, and again, no way he's going to get Peltier.
Oddly, that cold snap for Peltier started in a game in which he was 3 for 3, you could argue, or had 3 hits at the time. Williams' first pitch swinging. And Mijos over.
Tell you what, Mijos covered some ground out there. The left fielder was clearly camped on that ball, and Mijos called him off for center field. A converted shortstop, Mijos is, to the outfield position, and a guy who just continues to improve for the Chanticleer club.
He's their best option, according to Coach Kevin Schnall in center field, so that's why he's there. And put the shift on as they'll move the shortstop over at second, and then kind of a deep first base positioning for Barthol.
I mean, now this is an extreme example of a shift. I'm not sure I've seen anybody play it quite like this year. Normally you see the second baseman about where he is, but maybe the shortstop up the middle a little bit. But they are certainly banking that Irby's going to pull the baseball.
So let me get back to what I talked about a couple innings ago. You were because you coach the modern player.
Please do.
So you're familiar with the modern game and the modern player. You're not a dinosaur by any stretch of the imagination.
It's just when a statement starts, not that you're an old man, but
that's out of touch.
Yeah, out of touch, old man. Right.
Right. Strike 2 to Irby, who didn't like the call.
No, but where you were going with that is there's a lot more in the game than we've ever seen, and now Coastal shifts back to a more standard defense. But I still am a purist in a lot of ways. But
what I was getting at is there's a lot of people who have no don't converse with you, no relation to you in any sort of day-to-day. And they agree. Longtime fans, observers, athletes kind of agree the same thing about this sport in particular.
Yeah, it's a different game.
Irby swung through the high heat. He struck out both times.
And, you know, some of the differences, I mean, obviously, when you just look at the field, we talked about the double bag and you have the pitch calm and, you know, the shift. I mean, seeing an extreme shift like that and the velocities of pitchers.
But
the things that have also evolved are some of the animations and antics that the players have. We see the sellies at second base and all. And it's just it's a different look for somebody that grew up in this game. And, you know, it's just a non-traditional way to play the game.
Kalenic with 2 down. See, sellies. There you go. This proves you're hip to what's going on.
And look, I'm all about spontaneous emotion. You know, a big moment, you do something all about that. But it's when it looks like it's been rehearsed is when it maybe jumps the shark for me a little bit.
How about if you're down 11-2 and it's the 8th inning and you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the game used to have a way of policing itself, but now, you know, with the values of the players and things that, you know, the way the game is.
It's a lot different now,
too. It's a lot different. It's a lot different. Tell you what, I know Norby's having a great outing on his side, but the job that Luke Jones has done for the Chanticleer Club to this point has been really good. You know, mixed in a couple walks and a couple knocks here and there, but largely has kept himself out of trouble.
Pirates have had runners in every inning against him. 89 inside.
Yeah, Jones wanted that. And, you know, those are the things like you tell your guys, hey, stay on the mound, don't show up the umpire, but I think the umpires have become more accustomed to it as well.
Jones, an all-state performer last year, the Region 1 5A Pitcher of the Year in South Carolina. He's a Man Patriot, Man High School. Dad played at College of Charleston. His stepdad, Adam, played at Georgia Tech. He's up to 47. Bit of movement down in the coastal pen. Some guys just kind of walking around down there, maybe a few loosening as far as stretching their legs out, that sort of thing.
He's definitely north of his career high. And again, going in, we were a little unsure about what the strategy was going to be. Would this be an opener or, you know, would this just be a one trip through the lineup kind of guy? But it looks like Coach Snow and staff are willing to ride with him until they just don't feel like he's effective.
Colin McKay has been their normal Friday night guy, but he's missed the last 2 Fridays. Runner goes in motion. Peltier will trot into third. Hit and run executed by the Pirates. As Kalenic comes through, runners on the corners for East Carolina now.
Yeah, very well executed, and maybe just a little bit of luck here as you see the shortstop going over, and it just does get over his head. Kind of would like to keep that ball out of the middle of the field in that situation just because of the hit and run. I've personally experienced it very recently running our team into a double play, but that ball hit pretty good through the center of the field, and Peltier over to third base, and now for the first time, maybe the announcer's jinx comes in. Luke Jones has got a little trouble going.
The gregarious Kalenic with his own celly. Barron takes a strike. Barron had a single and then was retired on the force out from Vergara. I don't think we could say enough about Walker Barron this year. He's caught every inning through the first 12 games for East Carolina.
You know, in every broadcast, I bring up the fact that he came in as a defensive guy, and he did, catch and throw guy, really, really good one at that. But it's been his growth at the plate that it has been really special.
Chop that one into the turf, and it'll bound foul.
You know, we saw a similar play to that chopper off the front of the turf earlier in the season. Actually, it was Peltier chopped the ball off the turf and over the first baseman's head, but it had such topspin it almost got in the corner. It was a double, so that was not too far from a similar situation.
No balls, 2 strikes. Coastal comes in 10-3. Chanticleers have only played 1 road game. That was the loss at Chapel Hill. They have Played some neutral site games as we were talking about earlier. Ball 2 strikes. Peltier went in motion on the hit and run and went in the third standing. Chopper on the right side. Tough play for Barthol, but he made it. And the Pirates will leave him stranded on the corners. Jones gets out of the jam. And we are all zeros in the score column through 3 complete. Beautiful Clark LeClair Stadium in the Emerald City of Greenville, North Carolina. Certainly Eastern Carolina's baseball capital. Some might argue the baseball capital of the Carolinas.
Some would certainly argue that.
Some might argue that's south of here. I'm Patrick Johnson, Mike Mullis alongside. Some might argue it's in the Piedmont area, the Triangle. There's a lot that feel like they have top-notch programs. Top of the order. And Norby has gone to a 2-ball count to start a hitter here. First time he's done that today. Mio struck out looking in the first. Mio's in the air. And the catch for Drew Downs, who watched into his glove.
So interestingly enough, I referenced Kelby Thorndike just a few minutes ago, and ironically, Coach Thorndike has now sent me a text message to inform me. Yeah, well, he sent me a text to inform me that Colby is actually his cousin, so we're okay. They're family.
Is that right?
Yeah. So if we happen to butcher a name at some point, at least it's still family.
Keeping it in the family. So after 9 strikeouts to start the game, a couple of flyouts. This off the bat of Bodine.
You mentioned earlier, ball really not carrying a whole lot today, and the flag is about as still as we've seen it all day. So we'll see if that picks back up and comes into effect a little later in the afternoon.
Like Barthol will bat. They're trying to weather as Coastal this period of time now without their starters. We mentioned their Friday night guy, McKay.
And I'll tell you what, there's no let up in their schedule, PJ. Carolina midweek and then come in here for 3 and turn around, leave here and have Wake Forest and Georgia Southern and then Troy, number 11 team in the country. So they've got quite a run here that'll probably help to dictate a lot of kind of where they end up, with the bulk of the season.
We'll follow that Troy series on the road with a trip to Clemson. Second game of a 4-game road swing for Coastal here. I mentioned Wake and then Georgia Southern. Campbell will be in between the GSU and Troy series. Oh, the bat into the dugout. Everybody scatters. 10th strikeout. And here we go. Whoop. Kind of scattering in the dugout down the first base side. And here we go. This happened a lot last weekend in the LeClair Classic. There we go. Everybody get out of the way.
Scattering, yeah, that's a dangerous thing, right? Metal bat flying over there at that velocity, but it's amazing. We're seeing that more and more in the last few weeks, and I'm not real sure what what the reasoning is, but it certainly has been happening.
To live action, Vergara lays it down. Nice job by Jones to get off the hill and make the throw to retire him.
That's a big part of Vergara's game. We've already seen him have at least one bump base hit here at home, and a guy that, he's in the lineup, brings the energy, is making himself into a good defensive outfielder, again, a converted infielder. That one not quite good enough to beat it out at first base.
We'll give a special hello and a special shout out to our dear friend, as this one is going to be a fair ball. Boucher into the corner, and Alex with a 1-out double. Boucher jumped on it as soon as it got to him, and it'll be Alex Boucher with his second two-bagger of the year.
Yeah, this is, as you can see, is right down the foul line. Just does stay fair as it crosses over the bag. Gets down into the corner, and easy stand-up double for Alex Boucher.
Fifth hit already for the Pirates. And again, the streak of having at least a runner in every inning has continued here. 5 have been left on for ECU through the first 3. One down for Drew Downs, and we're going to have a visit to the mound. I want to give a special hello, watching today from the beautiful city of New Bern, at the great Cy Seymour.
One of the good ones.
I think he finally has come down maybe off of the high after the basketball team thumped Tulane last night here in Greenville. ECU with a resounding win over the Green Wave to move into 5th and have a chance at a double bye in the upcoming conference tournament.
When is the last time anybody was talking about ECU basketball at 12 games, 13 games into ECU baseball season? It's been a special season, a great job by Coach Schwartz and staff to get that thing turned around after they were kind of left for dead, not but, about 3 weeks ago.
Dominic Carbone, the lefty, is starting to get ready for Coastal. Downs hammers this in the air. Catch made by Alexander. So there are 2 away. Nothing more than Jones would like to retire Wallace here. Get out of the inning, and I'm sure the coaching staff for Coastal would like that as well. This is possibly going to be his final batter he'll face. We'll see. One way or the other, the Coastal coaching staff would like to have it be he retires Wallace. They could start the clean inning maybe for a reliever. We'll see, though, what happens.
Yeah, they definitely have a left-hander out there. It looks like he's doing more than just playing a little toss. He's actually back on the bump at this point, so we'll see where it goes for Jones. I think they've probably gotten as much, if maybe more, than what they thought they'd get out of him.
Ball is carrying. It's drifting back. It will leave the yard. That's a little surprising because the ball has not carried well here today at all, but Colby Wallace with the homer.
Well, and the timing couldn't be any better. Just as I said not 5 minutes ago, the flag wasn't moving at all. It picked up out to right field, and Colby Wallace, as strong as he is, gets that pitch down in the zone and gets just enough barrel on it to drive it out of the ballpark. You'll see it here. You'll see the center fielder, left fielder kind of converge to see if they might have a chance to get to it, but just a little bit deep, and Colby Wallace with the opposite field home run to give the Pirates a 2-run lead.
Colby's got that great smile. You got to feel really good for him. As Peltier slashes it foul. He had a base hit back in the 3rd.
I would have bet anything Peltier would come up and laid it down right behind that. Third baseman is way back, and a home run and a bunt is a pretty good strategy.
Offers at that one. Did he go? He did not.
Really thought he'd do that on the first pitch.
Michael Parnell's behind the plate. They appealed to Kevin Spivey down at first. Shane Sullivan's at second. The umpire, Manny Salazar, the chief, at third base. That will be ball 2. So 2-0 ECU off the Colby Wallace home run. Pretty healthy contingent of Coastal fans. I would imagine maybe a few more with the 70-degree day tomorrow might make their way.
Yeah, maybe
into the park.
Finish up work tonight and then head over. Not a bad drive.
There'll be a return engagement next year down in Myrtle Beach, as Peltier is on for the second time as he draws the walk.
You know what, PJ, we were talking about Luke Jones's outing 2 hitters ago, and kind of felt like he had probably, given them all that he could, or maybe more than what they expected. And first time he's kind of pitched himself into trouble, and Colby Wallace taking advantage of it. Now Peltier back on the bag. Would not be surprised to see him try to get the second give Dixon Williams a shot at an RBI.
With the way I knew I would do it. The way Ethan Norby is going, do you think this is a little bit of a danger zone at bat right now for Coastal?
Oh, you know, look, there's a ton of baseball left to play, and I'm not sure what the plan is with Norby as it relates to pitch count. Last time out, he was lifted at 93, and again, I think it's going to be effectiveness. But such a long season, I'm sure they'll still want to be a little bit careful with him. But, you know, at some point, it's going to become a battle of the bullpens. See if Coach Palumbo moves him here. Looks like a little extra conversation down there with Coach Lartigue and Peltier.
Does it go? Pitch high.
You know, we've already seen them hit and run or run and hit a number of times tonight. A lot of it with 2 outs and in similar counts.
Another nice job of laying off the pitch by Williams, 3-1.
Yeah, really good job to hold up there. That was a super borderline fastball there on the just off the outer block apparently.
Dumped that breaking pitch in, 69th pitch. It was a nice one.
You know what? Never a bad idea to take that 3-1 to go 3-2 unless it's an absolute hot zone pitch for you, because now obviously you get the big jump at first base and just about anything will score a guy like Peltier.
Peltier on to second, broke, and it's going to be ball 4 to Williams. He was already at second before the pitch was thrown.
I'm not sure I've ever seen that to that extent. I mean, it almost looked like he could have gone first to third on the steal. I mean, literally there's Peltier crossing across your screen as that pitch is about to be delivered. Look, he tagged second before. It's almost like, is that a rules violation? That's kind of a strange look in that situation, and that'll bring the pitching coach, Matt Williams, out to have a talk with the young freshman and probably congratulate him on an otherwise good day.
Not a bad start, all things considering, and they are going to go to the pen. So Coastal makes the first pitching change of the afternoon. It comes in the Pirate half of the fourth after the Pirates have already pushed across a pair. 2-0 East Carolina. Colby Wallace, the big blow earlier this inning. So Dominic Carbone will be the pitcher now. Left-hander, sophomore from Rocky Point, New York. 5'10", 185-pounder. Making his 5th appearance. ERA 1 and 11 strikeouts, just 1 walk in 9 innings of work so far.
Tell you what, the numbers are impressive, and clearly this is Coastal saying, listen, we need to stop this right here. 2 runs we feel like we could come back from. They're going to a high-leverage arm in a high-leverage situation, looking for the opportunity to try to win game 1. And he'll get a couple left-handers back-to-back here out of the gate in Kalinich and Irby. Actually, backwards Irby and Kalinich.
24 appearances as a freshman with Coastal last year, went 5-1, 35 strikeouts. He faced 166 batters in 37 1/3 innings a season ago.
Kind of has that, you remember Jack McDowell by chance from the White Sox?
Yeah.
It kind of has that look all the way around.
Yeah, he kind of does, doesn't he?
Last time I saw Jack McDowell, he was coaching for Queens University in Charlotte as they were starting their baseball program.
He certainly was. That's where he was. That was an interesting deal. I remember hearing about that. So the Pirates have Peltier on at second. Even though he was on the bag before the pitch was thrown, they just say advance to second. It was ball 4 to Dixon Williams. Irby the batter. Now, Irby struck out both times against Luke Jones.
Yeah, Peltier's advancement to second was, I guess, the textbook definition of defensive indifference because there was
no
the only
effort.
thing you could try to do is backpick him there if you're the catcher.
What was funny is Peltier, as you said, rounded the bag. It was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, he was almost confused. Should I keep going? I mean, he was there that far ahead. That was a great jump in that
I'm
situation.
surprised he didn't go to third.
No.
Norby, a couple of home runs at Segres Stadium midweek. Had him in back-to-back innings. He's taking a pretty healthy cut there. Yeah, that Will Smart.
Yeah, Bodine will go out and have a chat with his pitcher and let the umpire catch his breath, I would imagine, on that one.
You're watching Bodine today. What kind of receiver is he?
You know, he's had that one that kind of rams torn out of the mid a little bit ago, but so far he's solid back there. That's one that, you know, they added the throat protector even under the extension, and that's why, if anybody was wondering, I'm glad to see Michael Parnell's okay back there.
Yeah. Ready to go here, 0-1. Cut that one, and it's going to be strike two.
You know, the metrics now are so much different for catchers. It's, you obviously got to keep the ball at the backstop, and, you know, you want to be able to throw runners out. But, man, a lot of these big league clubs are looking at strikes that you stole, you know, that you were able to get called strikes. And it's just a way different way of evaluating catchers than has ever existed. And quite frankly, even talking with a big league scout just the other day about Luke Stevenson in particular, every organization has a little bit of a different metric and analytic that they're looking for as they evaluate what's right in their philosophies.
Top 50 draft prospect is Bodine. Irby swings through that one, and he has struck out all three at bats. A hat trick for Irby. Pirates played a couple. The Colby Wallace two-run shot has them up 2-0. Kevin Schnall taking over as the head coach following the retirement of Gary Gilmore. Coastal got into the NCAAs as an at-large last year. 21st season on the staff at Coastal, and served as the acting coach during Coach Gilmore's health situation, the cancer in 2020. Part of the 2016 staff that guided the Chanticleers to the World Series title. He's a member of the Coastal Athletics Hall of Fame. It's really interesting in talking to him, as he said about the game at Chapel Hill, obviously disappointed, but really encouraged.
Yeah, woke up encouraged that morning, and I tell you what, we made mention of a tough loss as we started the conversation with him, and man, he went through play by play and blow by blow, and it's amazing how his mind works, and he can point out every little thing. But good player in his own regard, and has been in that head coach in waiting position for a while, and the beat goes on for this Chanticleer program. You know, they were kind of and still kind of are the poster child for small programs, smaller schools have an opportunity to get to Omaha, and not only get to Omaha, win the national championship.
Gilmore led them to 19 NCAA tournaments. Norby with his 11th strikeout of the day. That's a career high for Ethan Norby.
You know, this feels like Friday night last year in Greenville, North Carolina, when Trey Savage was out there striking out double digits every time he went out. But Norby is definitely on a heater right now.
Here's Thorndike. Gary Gilmore, where did he start his coaching career, Mo?
That's a good question. I am not sure about that one.
South Carolina, Aiken.
How about that? USC Aiken.
As an assistant, then the head coach from 90 to 95 before taking over the Coastal program. This is one of those sort of regional series that makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
This is one that, I think both clubs would have liked to have had happen long before it did, and it's a lot of fun to see these two mix it up as Norby records yet another strikeout. But it's one that, they intend to renew and keep going here for a while, and I think the Pirate faithful will love the trip to Myrtle Beach this time of the year, next year, and potentially in the foreseeable future. And, Norby just buckled him on that one.
Yeah, Thorndike No chance. He knew it.
So 12 strikeouts with only 58 pitches thrown. Impressive number.
Another strike called. Walker Mitchell struck out swinging to end the second.
You know, there's been a lot made about the fact that the plan for Norby going into the season was going to be that best arm out of the pen, that kind of stopper guy that would come in a high leverage situation regardless of, you know, where the game was, with an opportunity to finish the game. And you see why, but man, his outings this year, especially to be 0-2, have been really special.
Ryan Towers soon to be rejoining the active roster. That's the plan anyway, and it is 2-2.
Yeah, the hopes are to get he and Antolik both back healthy and at 100%, and when that happens, it just bolsters a relatively deep staff already.
Pirate pitching has had some highlight moments this season. This is certainly one of them. Strike 3 called. How about that? He has struck out all but 2 batters he's faced so far. Halfway home, 2-0 ECU behind a career-high strikeout effort from the sophomore Ethan Norby. We talked about it a little earlier, that 2022 Greenville Regional and the right to go to the Super, and the Pirates poured it on in a 13-4 victory that day as East Carolina Worrell with the big AB late, putting the icing on the cake in the 7th. What a couple of weekends in Greenville.
If I'm not mistaken, PJ, that was the infamous Worrell hits the home run and gets the little shove from the umpire to get him going, which was all over social media and was a big talk, you know, around the baseball community. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about.
I do.
But the home run and again, the umpire, I didn't think Worrell did anything spectacular there other than absolutely smoke that baseball, and the umpire wanted him to go ahead and get his trot started.
Coastal had won the game Sunday to force that decisive Game 7 of the regional. You might have noticed, too, during the Worrell trot, coming home, the players had the cowboy hats on. They've taken that celebratory aspect out of it.
No props.
No
props. No props while giving props.
Kalinich, 1 for 2. Well, he is animated up there, isn't he?
No doubt. See it there? Nope. He's going to let everybody know that was not there.
And he disagreed with the strike call. Hits with the bright bat, too, huh?
Yeah, one of the Coastal guys is swinging that same stick. Not that one particularly, but that same model, same color.
Thumb guard also, that same color. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Be called a strikeout, and then 2-3 on the put out officially. That is only the third Pirate to strike out today, the second one not named Irby.
You'll see the swing and the effort to hold, and Kalinich is already gone as the umpires are peeling down to third base. I think, you know, at some point when that happens, don't you just not worry about the appeal and let the play go?
Yeah.
Isn't that an admission of guilt?
Walker Barron extended his hitting streak back in the second inning on a ground ball to short that rolled with some topspin up the arm of Berengo.
You know, that's another part of the game that seems to have changed a little bit is the, you know, the error or hit call. It seems to be a little more in favor of the hitter these days. I know obviously we're at home, and that was an East Carolina hitter, but just seems to be universally just a little more lax on what's a hit and what's an error.
For a minute, saw those fans with blankets on. I thought we'd got the mullican going. One ball, 2 strikes. I tickled myself on that one.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. I'll say this, though. Coach O was looking for the heat up here. It was a little chilly in the pregame.
Yeah, I'm very appreciative when the wind does lay down. It doesn't blow up here quite as much as it does at other times. But
this isn't the breeze. This is wind. 2-2, and that is a ball deposited in right for Walker Barron.
You know what? He just continues to have competitive and solid ABs back-to-back times, and they're getting so much production out of that spot. Looks like we got a pinch hitter here.
7 Pirate hits for the day, and we're going to have the freshman from Snow Hill, Braden Burris, bat. And he'll take over conceivably in left. He lines this one into left center, and the Pirates maybe getting something going here against the reliever.
Yeah, they definitely got a little something working, and they got it out of the right-handers, which they needed, and that's a sign of life. The matchups work there. You know, the left-hander comes in, gets the 2 lefties, and then as the right-handed hitters come to the plate, they solid approaches, stay in the heart of the park, and that'll bring another right-hander, Alex Boucher.
Boucher a double, and he scored on the Wallace home run in the second. Had that cue shot down the line that rattled around in the corner in left field. Carbone in relief of Jones, who went 3 2/3 today. Gave up 6 hits, did Jones. A couple of runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. I think all things considered, not a bad outing for the freshman.
Though, like we said earlier, man, I think they you know, maybe 1 hitter too long, but they got out of him what they needed to give Carbone. You know, he's only chasing 2, so it's up to him to try to hold the Pirates right here. But I think the freshman starter, you know, did a better than serviceable job.
Well, the part of this too is Carbone just a pitch from getting out of the inning. Runners on at first and second. Deals a strike.
Yeah, the part of this matchup that's interesting, obviously Boucher, his success, the vast majority coming to the pull side of the field, last at bat, pulls the ball right down the line. It's a little bit spinny up top, but if you try to go down and away from him, he seems to be able to hook that pitch.
Pop this up. Out in the green, drifting back. Barthol makes the catch.
Yeah, that was nearly my point there, PJ. He got that one off the end of the bat, and it just kind of come out of his swing a little bit, but he's so strong that when he gets that pitch that's, you know, bottom part of the zone, kind of down and away from him, he's had a lot of success with it, and surprisingly and kind of counterintuitively, all of it on the pull side. The pitch he pulled out of the ballpark at Carolina was one of those.
Drew Downs a bunt single that was laid down beautifully in the second. Pirates have had some traffic in this game. They have left 7 stranded so far, 2 in each of the last 3 innings. Couple on here with 2 down for Downs.
That bunt base hit pushes Downs' batting average up to an even 400 on the season.
Carbone's one of those guys, he can be really, really wicked when his stuff is going.
You know, and we compared the two teams earlier, and I think one thing they jointly enjoy is, you know, their bullpens and some depth out of them. And Coastal has a few young guys down there, according to Coach Schnall, that are very, very gifted.
Got another lefty, Hayden Johnson, kind of cut from the same mold as Carbone in some ways.
Well, you know, he really liked, what was it, Moran was another one that he liked
sure
down there.
3-1 here. Chop back foul. So the count is full to Drew Downs.
Pretty veteran pitch there by Carbone to get it underneath the hands of Downs. Going to be tough for Downs to get to. But again, we're in that 3-2, 2-out situation, so we'll see if these guys can get the jump like Peltier.
Lefty stick, freshman from Cary. Full count offering to him. Ball 4. Bases are loaded. This was earlier, Mully. Colby Wallace coming through for the Pirates in the 4th.
Yeah, a little Oppo Taco there. He stays on a pitch down and away, and big strong unit drives it out of the ballpark and fires up the Pirate team, faithful fans, everybody that's taking this one in. Be interested to watch here. So far, the right-handed hitters have kind of had their way with Carbone. And looked like Wallace was trying to hit that one out on the pull side.
Yeah. Nothing in 1. Carbone in a jam here. Bases full of Pirates. ECU with the chance to extend, maybe blow this open here in the 5th. Nice job by Bodine behind the plate.
Carbone hasn't shown a big fastball, and it's one of those things where when when you're a right-handed hitter facing a left-handed pitcher that we would describe as kind of a thumber or a not necessarily junk baller, but a guy that's going to nibble and bite and try to let you get yourself out. The last thing you're going to be able to do with any type of success typically is pull that pitch unless it is a hanging breaking ball. So let's see if Colby will adjust to go the other way. He got
driven
the
in the air. Is it a grand slam? It is. 2-home run game for Colby Wallace, and this one in grand fashion.
I tell you what, he couldn't have done that at a better time.
Six-zip Pirates.
6 RBIs on the night for Colby Wallace. Pretty good. And kind of as we were talking about it, Carbone does exactly what I'd mentioned. If he throws the hanger, that center cut, that's where Colby Wallace will get him. The pitch, the swing he took the pitch before it, he had evil intentions. That one finds the barrel and puts the Pirates up 6-0. You know, and this is kind of what Coach Schnall had also talked about when, we alluded to it earlier when they came out of the first 4 games feeling so good about themselves and their progression and where the team was, and then just got into those first 2 games at Jacksonville and kind of ran into a buzzsaw. And it looks like this go round, the Pirates are the buzzsaw, and the Chanticleers are having a tough time figuring them out. The numbers left on right for Dominic Carbone, the splits, if you will, have certainly not been favorable for him.
Peltier on the ground, booted over at first.
And when it rains, it pours. That's about as routine as it gets. Carbone doing a nice job getting over, but the first baseman Thorndike just couldn't corral it. Again, you got a guy running like Peltier, puts a little pressure on you. But that's one that you got to have.
Colby Wallace's previous high for RBIs in a game, 2. He did it twice. But here, 6 of them. They represent all the Pirate tallies so far. It's going to be the second error of the year on Thorndike.
And in the bigger picture, the deal with Colby, to see him start clicking as well, and we had talked about, although Dixon Ofer tonight has had much better at-bats in the last several games, so kind of the heart of that Pirate lineup figured it out a little bit.
1-1 the count to Dixon Williams, D.H. Conley alum. Third year with the Pirate program. Peltier goes. Going to be bashed foul. What has been the biggest growth area you've seen from Dixon, maybe in just the last couple of weeks?
Well, again, using the heart of the park, and that's such a big deal. He maybe had a little bit of a desire problem, and the desire was he wanted to do too much, and kind of cut it down. We saw him have some success, repeated success, 7-8 hits in the LeClaire Classic, and all of them in the middle and the opposite side of the park.
The one down in the dirt that Bodine stops.
And this is one of those deals, left on left, the arm side action of the left-hander, and you know, it's if Dixon gets the breaking ball here again, just to stay on it, drive it out there towards that country march sign in the left center gap. He's got to be on time for the fastest and stay late for the off speed.
Rolled out the second, fielded there. They'll retire Peltier, and that will end the inning. But a grand slam. The bomb from Colby Wallace, his second tater of the day. And he has blown this open 6-0. Pirates through 5. Patrick Johnson, Mike Mullis approaching a little bit of the golden hour. Folks bundled up out there. Patrick Johnson, as I said, Mike Mullis. I saw that on the screen. I repeated it again. And you were rattling around over there.
Oh, yeah, I knew you'd blame it on me.
Yeah, well, somebody's got to.
The old guy.
Jake Books is 0-1 to him. Now 0-2.
Not much of a golden hour tonight. A little bit overcast here.
Kind of a haze, huh? Through the clouds, filtered sun earlier. It's never really broken through today. .57 degrees at first pitch time. 54 right now. Another strikeout, 13 of them. By the way, Braden Burris has taken over in left field.
Tell you what, Norby just keeps rolling here, and quite frankly, the Chanticleer lineup isn't really offering much resistance. That pitch clearly down and out of the zone, but good breaking ball and hard to hold up for Jake Books. Books a guy that they've been really hoping would get hot and has shown some signs, but struggles with that one for Norbs.
14, I misspoke for Norby today.
How about that stat right there? 16 first pitch strikes, 17 hitters faced. If you're a young pitcher watching at home, there's no mystery to this thing. Get ahead, and then you can pitch. In my opinion, get ahead with the fastball or whatever your best pitch is, and that opens up your repertoire, but always easier to face a guy in a pitcher's count.
Strike three, number 15.
You know, this conversation used to come up last year with Yasavich on what we had nicknamed Trey Day on Fridays. I'm not sure how many strike placards they have to go up on the strike board out there in the jungle, but they may need them all tonight.
Baringo.
Another first pitch strike, and that's how you maintain a relatively low pitch count number, 73 pitches, and we're into the sixth, and Norby with the strikeout numbers he's got. Again, this the value of strike one. Baringo with a little different look if you watch his initial rhythm and kind of stride, if you will, a little rock step. And
number 16.
It almost looks like Norby surprised himself just a little bit.
3 up, 3 down. Coastal has been silenced here. The offense totally shut down so far. Great day for Ethan Norby, staying warm in the dugout. And the spring breakout roster. There was a guy at the top of that, Trey Savage. Had a few big strikeout days.
Yeah, he did. He had some big numbers. I've talked about it several times already. And you see him and Wiz, Agnos, Boylan, Bright. I mean, these guys, what a privilege for them to be on these breakout rosters. If you don't know, it's kind of a separation of the top prospects from each organization to get an opportunity to play. I think it's over a 10-day or maybe 2-week time period, but kind of similar to what the Arizona Fall League has been for so many years.
Coastal's got a new arm, and that is going to be Tayden Bell, left-hand sophomore, 6'2", $197, Columbus, Nebraska. Well, they get them from all over, don't they?
Tell you what, and Coach Stahl makes no bones about it. If it's the right guy, the right fit, and they will go to California, coast to coast, the Mid-Atlantic. Got great relationships up there in that Mid-Atlantic area, and they go out and hunt these guys. They take baseball very, very seriously, much like East Carolina at Coastal.
1 1/3 innings for Carbone, 3 hits, and the 4 runs allowed on the grand slam from Colby Wallace. Kind of an interesting day today in a lot of aspects. Things going on here, and it's kind of the game within the game. It's Irby who hit the 2 home runs last game and has come back as a freshman here at home, and unfortunately struck out in front of the home fans 3 times already.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you wonder if you can't be a little bit of as a young player, a victim of your success, where you know you start having maybe expectations getting outside of your plan, and you know, forget what got you there. But I'm sure that Irby will settle back in and get it going again. You know, and sometimes all you need to do is draw that walk, or you know, just find a way on first base, and it's kind of a reset.
(3-1) from the left-hander, and Irby with a healthy whack at it.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of those deals where that's that big swing. That is the quote-unquote home run swing. And, you know, you talk to any baseball person out there, they'll tell you it's hard to hit one when you're trying.
Makes contact, chops it through.
Cut it down, 2 strikes, almost looked like he was a little bit fooled, and manages to fight one through as the third baseman was still playing in quite a bit. Just kind of an excuse me swing, short and into left field, and that's how you break out.
10th Pirate hit of the afternoon. Kalinic, 1 for 3 today. Squares the bunt, pulls back. It's going to be ball and no strikes. 2 o'clock tomorrow, these same 2 teams. Sean Jenkins toes the bump. Cameron Flukie, the right-hander, will go for Coastal.
You know, this is one of those deals where you're called on to do a job here and get another insurance run into scoring position and kind of pass the baton down through the lineup. We'll see if Coach Palumbo has anything working here. We may, if Tayden Bell has a pick move of any measure, I would think we would see it here fairly shortly. That certainly wasn't a good one, but that was one they had already put on and were going to try to see if he bunted. I would also chance to guess that as early as Kalinic showed, as much as this team likes to slash, that might have been the thought process there.
I got away from Bodine, but Irby did not go.
Yeah, and a little more conservative when you're in a sack bunt situation with your lead at first base. Last thing you want to do is get picked off. It's on the hitter to get the bunt down and give you an opportunity to advance. So not enough over there to even risk taking a chance, run yourself into an out at second base.
Nobody down in the inning so far. Irby with the leadoff single. Colby Wallace, the hitting star today. He's driven in all 6 Pirate runs. 2-run homer in the 4th, grand slam in the 5th. Got the bunt down, and he did his job there.
Yeah, good job by Kalinic. That's all he needed to do, get it down, and like I said, pass the baton back to Walker Bear, and it's got to be comfortable knowing he's behind you. Again, this guy that's put together so many good at-bats for this Pirate offense this year. Now he has a chance to get an RBI of his own with Austin Irby out at second base.
Breaking pitch. That's going to be for a ball to start off Walker Barron here. Couple singles today. Barron extending his hitting streak to 9 games. Popped up. And the catch will be made on the dirt by the second baseman Barthel for the second out. Burris, who pinch hit for Vergara last inning and then took over in left field, will be up. He singled and scored on the Wallace home run.
You know, with the injury of Riley Johnson, we saw Burris a lot in the leadoff spot early in the season with kind of mixed success. But last at bat, pretty good piece. We've seen it of late with him coming off the bat. A lot of pitch, or off the bench, I'm sorry, a lot of pinch hit opportunities late in games, and he's had an increased level of success there.
One and one with Irby out at second base. 2 down in the inning. Of course, North Carolina is who Coastal played midweek, losing in 11 innings. Pirates played him in a 3-game series earlier in the season. This is the second-ranked opponent the Pirates have played in a series this season. But in Chapel Hill right now, they're starting ACC play up. Bottom of the 4th, it's 4th-ranked Carolina 6, Stanford 6.
The traditional ACC matchup of Stanford and Carolina.
Tobacco Road extends pretty far. And Mijos with the catch to end the inning as Burris flies out. Pirates leave a runner stranded at second base after the base hit by Irby. And we will move on to the 7th inning. Ethan Norby, 16 strikeouts today. That's the most since Jeff Hoffman had that many against Middle Tennessee, April 17th, 2014. Hoffman, of course, in the Blue Jays camp. All-star at the Phillies last year. Phillies might actually have some better pitching than they had last year. I think it's not so much you run out of case, you run out of room.
Yeah, it's you know, it's amazing that's a 2014 number and not something that was beat by, you know, Gavin Williams or Trey Savage, but it's Norby out there getting it done tonight.
Savage last year against Wichita, 15 strikeouts. Dean Mijos starts off 1-1. He's 0 for 2, a strikeout, and he is one of 2 batters to make contact for an out today. Bodine the other, he's on deck. He flew out to right field, did Mijos back in the 4th inning. Two balls, 2 strikes. Mijos down to 378. Chopper, this is going to be a tough play, and it's going to be unable to be fielded by Williams.
Yeah, Dixon ranged an awful long ways to get to that one, probably one he feels like he should have had. He's going to take a look at the scoreboard and we'll see which way this one's judged. We just had this conversation a little bit ago, but you'll see Dixon with a pretty healthy little runs, got a good angle on it, gets there in plenty of time, and I think that's got to be ruled an error.
We'll see. A lot of drama over this call, as Bodine will be the batter. Hit in the air by Bodine, and it'll be caught by Peltier. They've not put it on the board here yet, but in the official box score that we have on the monitor here, they're going to say Mijos reached on a fielding error.
Tell you what, great play by Peltier there to range that far over. The wind kind of working out that way, but he ran a long ways to get to that ball.
So they just threw the error up here. For Dixon, his 4th of the year.
And one that I'm sure he's quite happy to have.
Yep. Before he's committed, he's probably had the biggest sigh of relief on that one is Barthol. It's going to be 2-0 to him. This is only the second batter that Norby has fallen behind 2-2 today.
And I'll tell you, 88-mile-an-hour fastball just blown by a hitter like Bodine. I mean, that thing is just jumping on him today. Kind of has that life out of the hand of Norbs. As he was walking off between innings, it literally looks like, he's raised his hands, and I don't think he's being demonstrative or trying to be showy. It's just like, man, he again, I think he's just living in the zone right now, not just the strike zone, but the zone between his ears.
Tick back foul. 87th pitch. And that will drop for Barthol. Mijos on to third.
That's you see the jump out there by Burris, and I do think he gets a reasonable read on it. That ball's, got some slice to it, headed back to the third base line, and kind of gets stuck between dive and no dive. I don't know that if he lays out, he makes it, but you see the spin on it, so not enough to where it was going to get down into the corner and make a huge difference. Nonetheless, the first Chanticleer hit.
Well, you say that, Mike, and they have actually taken away the error.
Yeah, they did.
And saying now it is a hit by Mijos.
That's interesting. The official score has decided to take away the error on Dixon Williams, and that would be the hit in left field, so that would be 2 errors or
2 hits.
I'm sorry, 2 hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Interesting.
That kind of happened in the mid at bat there for Barthol.
Yeah. During all that, Coach Austin Knight made a trip out, had a chat with Norby, and the nice part for the coaching staff is now, he's at 88 pitches. He's removed the possibility of the perfect game or the no-hitter, and you can kind of go back to managing the way that you had intended to from a pitch count standpoint, and it takes away those decisions.
Tazi, one of those kids that didn't play competitive travel ball, was not highly recruited, yet found a home at Coastal.
Yeah, I thought he was just a great athlete up in the Mid-Atlantic states, and through relationships, Coach Knoll kind of tracks him down, and they go up and see him and like what they saw, and now here he is, a shot to clear.
That's the second out as Tazi fans. He whiffs there.
effective conversation there between Coach Knight and Norby, and he settles back in and does Norby-type things.
Pinch hitter is going to be Wells Sykes. "17 strikeouts, the most since 1992. 18 for Aiden Butler in that one. It's kind of crazy we're talking about high strikeout games and Trey Savage is.
Yeah, not in the conversation to speak of, although he was most consistent with the double digits.
Oh, yeah. That's another one. 18 Ks today for Ethan Norby. Gave up a couple of hits, but comes back to retire the Chanticleers consecutively on a couple of strikeouts.
I wondered.
Well, Sykes is over in right field now for Coastal, and they bring Jake Books into play first as Thorndike is lifted. Boucher, Downs, Wallace due up for the Pirates here. 7, 8, 9. Tayden Bell, third Chanticleers pitcher of the day. Ethan Norby has been fantastic, a career-high 18 strikeouts, following up his 9K performance last Friday against Kent State.
Big swing there by Boucher. Comes up empty.
Molly, I know there's a lot of baseball still to be played this weekend around the American, but if there's going to be a better pitching performance to be pitcher of the week, I'd love to see it. Boucher strikes out and is thrown out for the first out.
Yeah, I don't know how you top this one so far that we've seen by Norbs. It's been special. It's been a lot of fun to watch, PJ. And from the looks of the Pirate pen, it doesn't appear as though it's over.
Strike one to Drew Downs. Bunt single and then walked in the fifth. Scored ahead of Wallace on the grand slam. Nothing in one. I got him.
It's going to hurt.
Yeah. Are they going to say that was off the handle of the bat and is a strike?
No, it's off the hand. They're going to have a conversation here.
Now, Cliff Godwin has come out of the dugout for East Carolina. Check on Downs, but also pay a little bit of attention to what the four umpires are saying.
Take a look here and see what we get. But, I mean, if this isn't off the hand, that's a miraculous reaction. And I can see the confusion because that is awfully close to the knob of the bat. And
they're going to say it hit him, yeah.
Yeah, they will award him.
I don't think there was any doubt, but it did take a little bit of a funky carom.
Yeah. Yeah, his reaction was instant. That would have been a great acting job, but Coach Null's out saying his piece now and seeing if he could change the mind. I don't think he will. You know, I never thought we'd be at this point in this game, PJ, and this Coastal club would only have 2 hits and one of them a questionable infield hit.
Is this reviewable, Molly? I don't know if it is.
I can't keep up with what's reviewable and what isn't. And you can see Coach Null said he thought it hit the friendly bat. Maybe use another F word.
I think it's been a frustrating day for Coach Null. And maybe he's letting out some of those frustrations right now.
He's a spirited Mid-Atlantic guy himself and going to fight for his guys. So he's let's see what he's taking here.
Usually you see the umpire come out and write something down.
I don't know.
The head coach is writing something down. What what he's scrolling down there. Is this?
Yeah, I don't know. What's your name and badge number? Would that apply? Is your supervisor working? And I'm going to tell you, the crew chief is in no hurry to come over here and break this thing up. I'm kind of the opinion, either send him to the showers or let's go back and play baseball. I mean, I think when you've talked that long to the umpire with such aggression, you've had to have said something that would merit you an early exit. At least that's been my history. I don't know.
We got a pinch runner for the Pirates. Downs is going to come out.
Brings up the hero of the night, PJ.
Yeah, hitting hero for sure.
Yeah.
Keenan Bowman is now running at first.
I forgot there was another guy on the other side of the ball that's had a pretty good night as well.
Yeah, 15 Ks. No hitter till the last frame. Wallace swinging a hot bat. Norby Wallace, one of those two-way guys last season.
We've talked already a fair amount about how similar these teams are, and I promise you the competitiveness and the fiery nature of these managers between Kevin Schnall and Cliff Godwin are very similar as well. So it'll be something fun to watch through the weekend. We need a little spark in this thing to see if we could raise the dander just a touch.
This had the kind of makings of one that was probably going to be a little tense.
Yeah, but look, we got a long ways to go in this thing.
Oh, yeah. 2 balls and a strike. 4 other games going on in the American right now. Charlotte 3-0 over JMU in the bottom of the 7th. 3-3 top 5. Wichita State tied at the Eck with Missouri State. Here's the 2-1. Down and away. And actually one other game going on right now. It's Memphis 1-0 over Southeastern Louisiana at the FedEx Park. Final from earlier, it was Michigan State 5-2 over UAB. They're playing in an event in Greenville, South Carolina.
Kobe Wallace hat trick right here, 3-1 count. He's got the right on left. It's the matchup he wants. He certainly seems to be seeing it pretty good tonight.
Sure does.
See what happens.
Pretty good cut at it.
Yeah, that's what you want. 3-1, A-plus swing. Might have been down just a touch, but he got off a good hack at it. Now settled into a 2-strike approach. It's kind of the mantra for this club and a lot is the first 2 swings are yours. The 2-strike swing is for the team.
Laid off of it, and that will be a walk. Bowman down to second base. Wallace on for the 3rd time.
The Shots do have somebody warming in the pen. Looks like a right-hander. There we go. We have the first appearance of the designated dancer for the Pirates out of the dugout tonight.
In and out pretty quick. Chance started 4-0, dropped a couple, including one to Alabama in Jacksonville, Florida. Then they went on that 6-game win streak before losing in extras to North Carolina midweek. Tar Heels edged them 5-4 in 11.
PJ, interestingly enough, for the first time I've been able to identify the designated dancer because that kind of started last weekend when everybody was wearing 23 on the jerseys.
Yeah, right.
It was number 7, Ryan Towers.
Is that right?
Yeah, the starting arm that has been a little banged up for the Pirates. So he must be feeling spry.
I'm going to say this. I'm a little surprised it's a pitcher.
I am extremely surprised it's a pitcher. Quite frankly, I'm extremely surprised to see it at all, but
that you are.
The old guy in me, I guess.
2-1. That will never be forgotten.
Never. It's kind of like when somebody starts a story and they go, now this is the truth. Well, you know it's not. or this isn't about the money. Well, then that's
No,
exactly
it's always
what it's
about the money. There are two ways about that. This commercial appeal, speaking of money, out with an article, the AAC has become the first conference to institute a minimum investment level for revenue sharing. That was just apparently reported today. Throw down and diving back in was Bowman.
That was a heck of a back pick by Bodine. He comes up and snaps that thing down there, just about got Bowman sleeping.
Peltier, by the way, struck out.
Swings through the breaker ball. You'll see it here. Bowman doing his job, good secondary. And I mean, if that thing doesn't tail a little bit at the end, that would have been really interesting. And in that situation, it wasn't about the strength of Bodine's throw. It was the quickness with which he got rid of it to catch Bowman finishing his secondary. And that one gets away from Bodine just a little bit. Pretty good block there, not enough for anybody to go anywhere.
Dixon Williams batting here in the bottom of the 7th. So all full members of the AAC have opted into revenue sharing. All power conferences are bound by the terms of the upcoming settlement. Memphis confirming earlier in the week, according to this report by the commercial appeal, they plan to opt in. Just to put a bow on that, as it's now 2-0, Army and Navy, which are affiliate members for football, are federally funded service academies, and they cannot opt into the settlement. Schools will be required to spend at least $10 million over a 3-year period for rev share. Oh, that caught him.
Just runs up and in on him and gets away from Taden Bell.
Ooh, yeah.
Right in the back of the armpit there.
It's a tender area.
That'll bring the pitcher coach Matt Williams out to have another visit. And
I think it's going to be a hook situation. Moment.
Yeah. The arm down in the bullpen just got a little swig of water. We'll see which way they go. I mean, quite frankly, 6-0 game, and as good as Norby's been, you have to wonder if if they want to burn another bullpen arm here. We'll see what decisions made. The right-hander down there is still playing tall, so you got 2 outs in the inning, and
I can stick with him.
Yeah, you got 2 outs in the inning with the lefty at the plate, and that's, you would hope that if you're Coastal, you would hope that Bell could pitch his way out of this thing again with 2 outs. Back-to-back lefties and save the righty to come in and deal with the right-handed hitters of the Pirates.
Also have Irby up there, as you mentioned, batting from the left side. He struck out 3 times. Didn't have a great swing, but got a hit last time. So,
kind of ironic. Earlier we saw him play the ultra-aggressive pull-side shift on Irby, and his last AB. He just hits one through the 5.5 hole over there between the third baseman and the shortstop. Interesting look at something we've seen these Pirates do before. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and Irby shows bunt. And the third baseman, typically when teams play the Pirates, the third baseman really works hard to take away the bunt all night, but he's back there, back of the bag. Yeah.
2-1, fisted this one in the air, and Mijos drifts back for the catch. Pirates unable to produce a run there. They lead it 6-0 as they leave the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th.
One way to win. It doesn't have shortcuts. It's a spirit to outwork, outsmart, and outlast the competition.
Catch me if you can.
It demands boldness, grit, and guts. It says we can, and we will. It's what separates us from the rest. There's only one way to greatness, and that's the American way.
Look at the numbers for Ethan Norby today. 18 strikeouts. Wilder, he's tied in past Aiden Butler. See Hoffman. Up next, Larry Creighton. Should he get 19? Hal Baird back in 74. No, excuse me, 1970 had 20 strikeouts.
Legendary coach.
Played here. You didn't know that.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Memphis and their pitcher, Jonathan Bolin, held the single game record in the American of 18, which now Norby has tied. That was set back in April of 2018 against USF.
Tell you what, watching him go out between innings and, kind of through my coach's glasses going, okay, how's he? Man, he jumped over the line, a lot of spring in his step. He, he looks like he's still got a little gas in the tank.
88 on that one. That is hit to right, drops down.
Pretty good job by Keenan Bowman out there in right field.
Checked in out right field.
Yeah, to cut that one off. That ball's destined for the corner and extra bases if he doesn't get there in time. Nice job of keeping the leadoff hitter to a long single, keeps the double play in order.
Third hit of the day for Coastal. Brooks, who took over at first base after Sykes came into the game and started playing right, is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts.
Ironically with Norby, we've seen the fastball kind of hover that 88 to 90 range, not a ton of the twos and even the occasional threes we see out of him. And it's some guys, they settle in and find the velocity with which they can move the baseball. And no question that Norby has certainly been more than effective tonight, still nibbling on the corners.
Misses for ball 2.
That's going to speed up the bullpen arm down there for the Pirates. Norby at 102 pitches.
Number 19 for Ethan Norby.
He is the conference champion.
Yep, that is the new record in the American.
Strikeout king of the American Conference.
Most in a single game.
And that's going to bring Coach Godwin out, and pretty classy move to do it here at the 103rd pitch. And I'm sure he's not aware that 20 is the school record. Don't know if it'd make a difference so early in the season, but 102 pitches and makes a call to the pen. But this will give Norby a chance to get the love and ovation from this Pirate fan base.
Ethan Norby, 19 strikeouts today.
He turns it over, and the fans here with the Norby chant.
Carried a no-hit bid into the 7th, and let's listen. Tell you about the new Pirate pitcher when we come back. Ethan Norby with a conference record 19 strikeout performance, 7 1/3 innings, and he did it on just 103 pitches.
And no walks. It's truly amazing. And the number of first pitch strikes, again, young pitchers, parents at home, dominate that fastball, be able to locate it where you want it, get ahead of hitters, and it gives you the opportunity to then pitch. And boy, Norby took advantage of it. Again, we said it just a minute ago. It wasn't 92, 93 tonight. It was 88, 89, and obviously a boatload of 90s. But, man, he just absolutely pitched the gym. And everybody watching this game, either, at home or here or at your local watering hole, you just saw something special.
What's amazing, Ethan Norby has said it a couple of times, said it to us a few weeks ago. had kind of a hesitation of coming to East Carolina. Didn't want to follow in the footsteps of his brother Connor. I think he's very much carved his own path today.
Well, and the Norby family, and I'm sure Connor's watching somewhere, they all have to be so excited for him again. It is hugely critical that we bring this back up. He is officially the AAC strikeout king as of right now.
Most in a single game in conference history. So Ethan Young, who had a really good appearance his last time, the 6'2", 220 right-hand junior from Harrisburg, transfer from Catawba Valley Community College.
You know, last time out, he truly was electric. I mean, fastball up to 96. Secondary stuff was really, really good. So Pirates making a statement that they're going to do everything they can to keep this game right here.
It's chopped out in front of the plate, but they're going to say foul ball. The numbers for Young: 3 1/3 against Vatek, couple hits allowed against the Hokies, a run, 6 strikeouts, 4 walks in that 6-1 victory last Sunday.
Yeah, he had like I said, had a really, really good outing, clean and really good stuff, commanded his stuff, and here he quickly gets out 0-2 count ahead of Sebastian Alexander.
Honorable mention in the AAC this week for Ethan Young, who misses outside. It's going to be 1-2.
Quality 0-2 pitch there, extend the strike zone and see if you could get Alexander to get himself out by swinging at a pitch that he would have no chance to make hard contact with.
Started his collegiate career at Hillsborough Community College, 6th appearance for the right-hander. Oh, wow.
That one looks like it was just off in the eyes of the home plate umpire. Quality pitch again, though.
Yeah, it really was. Missed upstairs.
You know, and this is what you don't want to do. Again, you're staked to a 6-0 lead. Your fellow pitcher just absolutely threw a gem, and you jump in and get, you know, ahead quickly, and now you've let the hitter back in, and like to finish him right here.
That's going to slice through and be a knock. Mitchell pulls up at second. Alexander with the second hit of the inning.
And the Chanticleers are forced into kind of playing station-to-station baseball. It would have been a risky chance there as Keita Bowman gets to this one pretty quickly as well. But you know, you just don't want to make the first or third. I'm sorry, one out already. You don't want to run into another out over at third base when you're mounting a little bit of a rally. All that Coastal wants to do here is try to cut this thing in half and get back in this game.
Ty Barengo.
You know, if Barengo can find his way on without costing the Coastal Club an out, that turns the lineup over with 2 outs to work with to the top.
Can you reach? That's the big thing here right now if you're Barengo. He struck out twice today, 2 of the 19 strikeouts posted by Connor Norby, an American Athletic Conference record. And for Ethan Norby, he'll have that distinction. It's 2-1. Ethan Young in relief of Ethan Norby here, and he's fallen behind 3-1.
You know, just to this point in Young's appearance, as opposed to last week, the breaking ball was much sharper, and obviously he was able to locate a little bit better. So let's see if he can settle in and find that same groove.
Comes back with the fastball.
You know, it's nice when you're facing the non-spot guy and maybe don't quite have your breaking ball yet. You could reach back and grab mid to upper 90s.
Strike 3, 20th strikeout today for the Chanticleers.
It's a big out there, 2 outs now in the inning, and they still flip the lineup. but an opportunity to kind of limit the damage or limit the opportunity that the top of this order has.
It's also the 20th strikeout by a pitcher named Ethan today.
Yeah, there you go. Ethan had 20.
Did?
So far.
To this point. Yep. Top 8. Coastal with their biggest threat of the day. Mijos. That breaking pitch was a beauty.
Yeah, there's the breaking ball. That's the good one. If he gets that thing going, it could be a long, short night.
Ethan Young, a guy that the Pirates felt could come in and finish some games for them. Digging down deep here. Ball gets away. And it's going to be a strikeout. Doesn't matter. Mijos went around. 21 strikeouts for Pirate pitching in the game, and the ECU pitchers, Ethan Norby and Ethan Young, combined to strike out the side. Well, the Pirates today have gotten tremendous pitching. Ethan Norby, what a start. 7 1/3, 19 strikeouts, the single game record in the American Athletic Conference. Most strikeouts all time. Shutout, 3-hit baseball. And overall, Pirate pitching is combined for 21 strikeouts today of the Chanticleers. This was an offense that came in batting .286. They were averaging 7.5 runs a game.
Yeah, you can't say enough about the job Norby did, but let's not forget what Colby Wallace has done. 6 RBI in this game with two home runs. You know what, Coach Gowan, I don't know if he awards a game ball after the game, but that kind of a coin toss as to which one you give it to there. You may have to give 2 today.
Hudson Lance, the freshman, 5'9", out of Trinity, North Carolina, 185 pounds. And he will come in relief, 4th Chanticleers pitcher at his work today.
Yeah, and for Lance, it's a matter of, listen, I've only got 2 innings on the season. This is a deal where you come in and kind of prove your worth, and if you can keep your team right here, maybe they have a chance offensively. If not, at least you prove to the staff that you can take the ball and collect outs, especially for a freshman.
He'll work here against Kalinich, who is 1 for 3 today. Had a really nice sacrifice bunt last time up at the 6th.
And PJ, it is of merit to note that this ballpark just got way smaller to right field with the wind blowing out pretty good now.
Off a bounce and covering the bases, Lance. 1 down for Walker Barron. Lance lettered in baseball at Wesleyan Christian Academy, where he was an all-state and all-conference selection.
Really good program there. They've got some guys highly thought of, potentially professionally and certainly college commits.
Won a state championship at Wesleyan during his time there. Up high to Barron. 2 o'clock tomorrow, first pitch time from Clark LeClaire. We'll have it for you here on ESPN Plus, as the Chanticleers and Pirates will battle in Game 2 of the series.
Walker Barron still looking a way to work his way on. It is never too late for a bunt for base hit from this Pirate club. And only a 6-run lead again. The wind kind of shifted out to right, and it's no lead is safe.
Chopper out to short for the second out. Pirates softball will be playing tonight at 7 against UTSA, one of the surprise teams in the American in softball so far. 7 o'clock Eastern. You can watch that on ESPN Plus. How about the Pirates softball team beating Michigan on Wednesday with a 2-run homer in the 6th inning? 2-1, the Pirates snapping the Michigan 6-game winning streak.
Yeah,
Pirate baseball trying to snap Coastal's or keep Coastal on a 2-game losing streak. That's a nice play, and he got him. Bodine down to a knee and throws, but we're going to have a review.
Yeah, we're going to take a look at that one. That was a pretty nice bunt, but a heck of an athletic play by Bodine behind the plate. Bounce out, a little slide around it, but immediately as Burris was crossing the bag, he's called out. He immediately went to the headset look and asking for his coach to review this one. So let's take a look for ourselves here.
Bodine got to it quickly. Oh, not even close.
Well, PG, I don't know if not even close is necessarily fair, because that's pretty close. Let's see what this angle looks like. There's the ball just showing up. Man, it's not even close.
So Burris was already foot on the bag. And threw the bag by the time it was brought in.
Yeah, it certainly looks like that's going to extend the inning. To give Boucher a shot at it. Hey, look, man, that's the tough part about playing both of these clubs. I mean, Coastal is not afraid to do the same thing regardless of the situation. 2 outs in the inning. It doesn't matter. 2 strikes. We saw bases loaded earlier with Irby, shows bunt. You just don't know with either one of these clubs. You have to play baseball until it's all said and done. And again, we alluded to earlier, the third baseman never has come in to kind of take that bunt away, and the Pirates have taken several looks at it tonight.
So Burris called the field was out, but he's standing out there at first base.
Normally my measure over at first base is typically how Coach Palumbo reacts, but several games ago he made the move over to third as Coach Godwin decided to go in the dugout, and I haven't quite figured out. Coach Lartigue has kind of kept his hands in his sweatshirt there. It's a little bit cool, so I didn't get any animations from him or any idea of what his take was.
When the original move was made, Coach Lartigue was not over there at first. That was development after the fact.
And they have overturned it, and he is going to be ruled safe at first, which will give Alex Boucher a shot with the runner on base.
Well, 2-hit game for Burris here. Dives back in ahead of the Lance throw.
Play by books over there to body that one up and keep it in front of him. And I'm telling you, Boucher wants to lay a bunt down. The third baseman is just about in the outfield.
Driven in the air, out towards left center, and it's off the wall. Here comes Burris chugging for home. 7-0 Pirates off the double by Boucher.
Yeah, Boucher said, I don't care where the third base is playing. I'm not here to bunt. I got a freshman right-hander on the mound. Suits me just fine, and actually one of the better swings we've seen Boucher take. No spin at all up top, just stays directional. I thought for a second that one got out of the park, but off the Bud Light sign out there. And that reversal of the call comes in big, and Burris scores easily.
Comes back to haunt them here. Second double today for Boucher. This time he gets an RBI, and Bowman now will be the batter. First at bat of the day. Bowman came in the 7th. He got hit by a pitch, or rather, check that, it was Downs got hit by a pitch. Bowman then came in, pinch run for him. So it is the first at bat for Bowman today. 1-1 to him.
You know, he's made 2 nice plays out in the outfield, nothing to record an out on, but to keep runners at first base, good angles on balls that have been hit pretty hard out there. So he's played a solid defense. Got a little 2-strike battle going here.
2 teams tomorrow at 2. Sean Jenkins, the freshman right-hander. Cameron Flukie, the righty, will go for Coastal. Mike, if you're the Chanticleers, what will be some of the things you'll want to try to go tomorrow? Now, you got to imagine, as great as Jenkins is, there's no way you would face another kind of otherworldly appearance. I mean, this was just Norby at his absolute finest today. Sometimes you have to tip the cap.
No, he was living in the zone, like I kind of keep saying. But I mean, obviously, man, congratulations to Norb for the 20. But if you're Coastal, you just can't strike out. Or 19, you just can't strike out 19 times and have a chance for success.
Scooped up at third by Mitchell across the diamond to end the inning. Pirates, though, had an insurance run. Got a couple of hits in the inning. We'll move to the 9th. Pirates will try to lock it down and win their 4th in a row. Ethan Young here as we start the 9th. He will deal with the toughest part of this Coastal quarter with Bodine, Barthol, and then Tazi. But Mully, if you're Ethan Young right now and going out there, Austin Knight, Cliff Godwin have told you what?
Hey, fill it up, pitcher with a 6-run lead. Yeah, you have Bodine first. It'll be the first time we've seen Bodine from the left side, and he does have some juice that way. But if he hits the ball out of the park, it's 1 run. It's not the end of the world. You got to go right at these guys. No freebies to let it compound and multi-run home runs. So go right after the first guy.
First pitch, and it's an out coming in. Peltier charging.
It can't be stressed too much, man. That is the power of first pitch, get ahead fastball. He challenged him, and Bodine just missed it and pops it up, and nice run and play by Peltier out in center field.
Barthol, 1 out of 3. That little bloop single. Another one of these Coastal guys, not heavily recruited necessarily. Had a big home run against Ohio State earlier in the season. Good day at the plate as far as the quality of his at-bats against North Carolina in that extra inning loss midweek.
Yeah, Young kind of sitting 94 with that fastball. And that's the top of the zone, 94. That's going to be it's going to be difficult for anybody to catch up with.
Ethan Young, a member of the 23 class, but then had that injury.
That pitch right there is a pretty good example of the arm side action that pitch can have. He fell off that one a little bit, which caused it to run a little more than he could control arm side. But, man, when he stays in the pitch, that's what you get. When he stays tight and doesn't allow himself to fall off to the first base side, it is electric.
So Ethan Young has come in and been excellent here. The last few hitters he's faced, he has struck out 3 of the last 5 that he has faced. I think 3 out of the last 4, and he's got 2 strikeouts, 22 total strikeouts today for Pirate pitching.
You know, I think back to the 17 strikeout game that the Pirates had offensively and had a tough night that night, allowing 10 walks. And, man, it's, you know, this just isn't an easy game. It's a hard game to play, and the Pirates have been really difficult on this Coastal club tonight.
By the way, that 22nd strikeout there, Mully, ties the record for team strikeouts thrown by Pirate pitching. That happened against William and Mary, 22 of them. That was a 13-inning game, though. 2-0, and Young bounced it in. He might have stumbled off the hill there.
Yeah, I hope he's okay. I don't see him grabbing a leg or anything. And tells the catcher, throw me the ball. He's kind of hit that clay spot and hung a spike a little bit, it looks like.
Wanted the ball back. Here he is, 3-0.
Should just come with fastballs down the pipe. Yanks it.
He walks Tazi, and Wells took over in right field. This spot is due up here, and he will come to the plate. Wells is 0 for 1 today, struck out back in the 7th inning. Close to 300 hitting on the season. Able to snap that one across for a strike. Ethan Young in relief of Ethan Norby, who was masterful today. Pirates are a pitch away from taking the opening game of the series.
Fastball ticked up a little bit at 95. Good job by Sykes to foul that off. Extend his at bat.
Young gonna do it again here. 0-2 on the ground, picked up at third by Wallace, across for the final out. Wallace, who had a huge day at the plate, comes up with the final throw to wrap this up as Coastal will leave a runner stranded in the top of the ninth. Pirates 7, Coastal nothing to take a 1-0 series advantage.
You know, the only thing that may have been more appropriate would have been if Norby was playing first, Wallace to Norby to finish the game, because they were certainly the storyline that everybody will talk about. Wallace with the 6 RBI, the 2 big home run, one of them a grand slam, and obviously hard to overshadow that, but Norby found a way tonight with an incredible pitching performance and, you know, backed up by Ethan Young. So a solid night all the way around for the Pirates. I'll be honest with you, PJ, I didn't think at the start of this one we would see a shutout. I didn't think it would be a 7-0 ball game. I thought it would be a really competitive game, and the Pirates had rounded out and been in form as of late. But this is a really solid Coastal club, and this series is far from over.
Look at the work today from Ethan Norby, Mully, and he was otherworldly, and he worked ahead practically all afternoon and evening.
Yeah, I mean, getting ahead of hitters, you can't say enough about it. And actually, when you saw Young have some success, he did the same thing. But Connor Norby just dotted it up, had all 3 going tonight. And again, it wasn't the big fastball. It was the breaking ball. It was the other stuff and the ability to locate. He just had a great night all the way around, one he'll never forget.
Ethan Norby setting the all-time record for strikeouts in a single game in the history of the American Athletic Conference, with 19 of them here. And Norby was magnificent all day. And even when he got in a little bit of trouble in the 7th inning after giving up the no-hit bid, still came through and ended the inning. just in the zone all day.
I have all ideas that he will be asked for a jungle jump tonight. Now, I don't know how his legs feel right now after that effort going, 103 pitches, I think was his final number, something like that. And, it's a heck of an effort. And as we sit and watch the Pirate team jog around the outfield, shake hands with all the fans, and that left field crowd will certainly want to show some love to Norby and Wallace especially.
7 1/3 and the AAC record for strikeouts in the game, and you can't overlook, despite this great performance, you cannot overlook Colby Wallace today. A couple of home runs, a grand slam, included 6 RBIs for the Pirate third baseman. Big win for ECU, 7-0 over the 24th ranked team in the country. Pirates have now reeled off 4 in a row. For Mike Mollis and our entire crew, I'm Patrick Johnson. We'll have Game 2 tomorrow for you. For now, so long from Greenville.